Friends, without further delay, let us get into explanation of all the 100 questions. I'll explain briefly so that I can finish the entire video in less time. First question is about Delimitation Commission. Delimitation Commission is formulated after every census, so that based on the increase in the population in different parts of India, the constituencies, the boundaries of constituencies of Lok Sabha and state assemblies can be changed based on the population. In the initial days, after every census, after independence, after every census, Delimitation Commission was formed. But after 1972, it was stopped. Again, it was constituted only in 2002. And after that, it was freezed. We are following the same delimitation. Hence, only for 4 times the commissions were formed. And this is direct question from the standard books. So only 4 times is formed. See, in the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India, that has the languages, new languages were added by amending the Constitution. In 1992, by 71st Constitutional Amendment Act, 3 languages are added. Konkani, Manipuri, Nepali were added. Whereas the language Maithili language was added by 92nd Constitutional Amendment Act. 92nd. So as for 71st, only these 3. Hence answer is 1, 2 and 3. Next question is, generally UPSC asks this kind of questions, both from pre-independent history, modern history, as well as post-independent history. Previously it used to ask more about the books, the authors of the books. This time they ask about political parties and who are the founders of the party, leaders of the party. See, Bharatiya Janasangh by Dr. Mukherjee and Congress for Democracy Reforms by Jagajeevan Rao. These both are commonly known to most of the students. However, Socialist Party is formed by a group of people among whom Acharya Narendra Dev is more famous. It is there in Spectrum also. Spectrum and NCERT, old NCERT, this is there. Swatantra Party is formed by C. Rajagopalachari. So, Socialist Party, Swatantra Party, they have interchanged. Those two are wrongly given. But Bharatiya Janasangh and Congress, they have rightly given. So, answer is 1 and 3. 1 and 3. That means 1 and 3, only 2 are rightly matched. Next question is about parts of Constitution of India. Generally in the Constitution of India, we remember important articles like fundamental rights, GPSP, and some articles of Parliament. However, I always suggest students to remember the parts. You have to know all the parts of the Constitution, because there are very few parts, easy to actually remember the parts. For example, this question is purely based on the parts of the Constitution. Which part belongs to what? For example, Part 9A of Constitution of India, Part 9A is added by 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, which added the municipalities to the Constitution. About municipalities. However, some students are confused whether the powers are also discussed in that part or powers were discussed only in the schedule, because in schedules also they added the panchayat and municipality. That is the question. But friends, for municipalities, the power, authority and responsibilities all are mentioned in the Part 9A of Constitution. Hence, this is correct option only, correct. Similarly, Part 18 of Constitution. Part 18 means Article 352 to Article 360. Part 18 talks about the emergency provisions. So it's also a right question. Then Part 20 of the Constitution, Part 20 talks about constitutional amendment, Article 360. It's also very famous, people know that. So all 3 are correct only, all 3 are correct. Now, this question of the Constitution of India is regarding the interstate. See, interstate. Generally, anything happening between 2 or more states, that means interstate, the powers lie in the union list. Definitely the powers will not lie in the state list. Hence, all the interstate trade or migration or quarantine, interstate quarantine, all of them lie in the union list. Here they gave union subject, but in the remaining they gave state subject. So they are wrong. They are also union subjects only. Okay, union list. They are union list. Similarly, corporation tax is also in the union list only. Corporation tax is also in the union list. Hence, only C is correct. Only C is correct. See, even if you do not know this, because this is not there in Lakshmikant, this is not there in NCERT books also. Maybe it is covered in some current affairs, but using common sense, you can tell that anything between states definitely will be dealt by the union list only, not state list. Again, right to privacy. See, right to privacy was in news from last 5 years. K. Puttaswamy case is in news, and right to privacy comes under right to life. Article 21 is a pretty straightforward question. Everybody knows it. Now see, Chief of Defence Staff is also in the news continuously. As I told you, from defense they gave 5 questions. There are more questions this year. Now, Chief of Defence Staff in the Defence Ministry, he is a powerful person whose main role is the interoperability of the 3 services, Army, Navy, Air Force. And he can advise each of the staff regarding their operations. So regarding him, the points are given. He is the chairman of Chief of Staff Committee, which is right. Chief of Staffs, all 3 staffs, he is the chairman of that. He exercises military command over the 3 service chiefs. See, he does not directly extend the military command. For example, he cannot command the army directly. He cannot command the navy directly. They are commanded by respective chiefs of army or navy. He cannot command them directly. Hence, it is wrong. Principal military advisor, Chief of Defence Staff is advisor in the Defence Minister on all the 3 services, which is correct. So 1 and 3 are correct. 1 and 3 are correct. Only 2 is wrong. See, army, particularly in the northeast India, Jammu and Kashmir, in order to build the trust with the local people, which is very important there for support, they actually work for the upliftment of the local population along the border areas or remote areas in the border states. And this comes under Operation Sadbhavana, which is a direct question. See, the longest border between 2 countries is Canada and United States. If you take the map, South America and North America, USA is here and Canada is here. The border is almost nearly 8,900 kilometers, the longest border between any 2 countries. It's also a factual question. Now, next question is regarding the ethics committee. Generally, UPSC's favorite topic is committees, parliamentary committees. Generally, while preparing also, we have to remember the numbers of parliamentary committees, from which do they belong to Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha is very important. Generally, questions come frequently on the parliamentary committees. Ethics committee was an ad hoc committee when it was formulated in 2000 by G. Balayogi, the then speaker. At the time, it was an ad hoc committee. But later on, from 2015 onwards, it became a permanent committee. Later on, it became a permanent committee. So, 1 is correct. And only a Lok Sabha member can complain against the Lok Sabha member for unethical conduct. Is wrong. Not only Lok Sabha member, even general public can also complain against the lawmakers, to the ethics committee. Hence, 2 is wrong. This committee cannot take up any matter which is sub judice. That's true. Any matter which is in the judiciary or any matter that comes through media cannot be taken up directly by the ethics committee. They have taken up only based on the complaints file. And it is there for Rajya Sabha also. This committee is there in Rajya Sabha also. So only 1 and 3 are correct. 1 and 3 are correct. Again, direct question. Who was the president of Constituent Assembly before Rajendra Prasad? It is Sachidanand Sinha. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. Government of India Act 1935 is a very important act for both prelims and mains, for both polity and history. And we have to remember almost every provision of 1935 Act. 1935 Act actually removed the diarchy from the provincial level, but created diarchy at the central level. Now, it provided for the establishment of All India Federation too, federation of all the princely states as well as provinces ruled by British. Both combined in form of All India Federation. That is correct. Defense and foreign affairs were kept under the federal legislation. No, it was kept under Governor General of India. Governor General of India. Defense and foreign. So 2 is wrong. 1 is correct. So only 1. Which of the following is attributed to playwright Bhasha? See, this is not directly there in the standard books. However, those who have read more about Natya Shastra, in Natya Shastra, out of 10 dramas, one of the drama is Madhyama Vyayoga, which talks about one of the Pandavas, Bhima, and his encounter with Gatotkaja and Bhima. And this work is attributed to playwright Bhasha. Natya Shastra, comes from Bharata Muni, and one of the Natya Shastra dramas is Madhyama Vyayoga, but based on that, a playwright was written by Bhasha. Friends, generally we focus on the Chinese Buddhist monks who came to India, Huensang, Fasain, these people. Most of the books also, our UPSC books also cover about them mostly. But Sanghabhuti, who is an Indian Buddhist monk who went to China, and he has spread Sarvastivada discipline. Actually, Sarvastivada is one of the schools of Buddhism, and through this work, he clearly explained the specific rules and discipline that is followed in the Sarvastivada school of Buddhism. Hence, he is very important, but unfortunately, more books do not cover about him. Now, World Heritage List. In the UNESCO, in its World Heritage List, continuously adds new places. Heritage means cultural heritage, natural heritage, or mixed heritage, which has significance of historical, science, technological significance, cultural significance. So they are saying which of these four are added in 2023 into the list of World Heritage Sites. So 2023 only Shantiniketan and Hoysalas, particularly sacred ensembles Hoysalas, are added. Remaining two were added long back. Example, Rani Ki Vav was added almost 10 years back. Even the Bodh Gaya's Mahabodhi temple complex was added almost 20 years ago. These were added, very old. Whereas these two, 1 and 3, were added recently, 1 year ago. So answer is 1 and 3. 1 and 3, only these two. As I told you, amendment of constitution was given importance. Already we saw one question on the part 20 of constitution regarding amendment in the constitution. One more question has come from amendment. As per Article 368, constitutional amendment means what can we do? Can we only add a provision or remove the existing provision or modify the provision? All three can be done. Definitely, all three can be done, while amending the constitution. See, which of these countries have very low birth rates? Generally, low birth rates are there in the developed countries. In developing or underdeveloped countries, birth rates are high, very high. Death rates are also very high. You can see any of the developing countries to understand why population is growing so fast. So, low birth rates only happen in the developed countries, Italy, Japan, South Korea. See, if you have read the news, specifically you may remember these countries. Otherwise also, using common sense, you can tell that Nigeria and South Africa are not developed countries. Hence, definitely they cannot have low birth rates. Hence, answer is 1, 2 and 4. Friends, money bill is a favorite topic of UPSC. They ask questions almost every year. Every year they ask questions on money bill. And money bill, as you know, the procedure for passing the money bill is very unique and very different, and we focus more on it while we learn polity. Article 109 clearly mentions the special procedures for passing the money bill. And money bill shall not be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. In Rajya Sabha, Council of States, it should not be introduced. It should be introduced only in Lok Sabha. So 1 and 2 are correct. Third one, Rajya Sabha can either approve it, accept the bill, or it can suggest the changes. It can suggest, correct, suggest the changes. But it cannot reject the money bill. It cannot, amendments to the money bill suggested by Rajya Sabha have to be accepted. No need. Rajya Sabha can only advise, suggest the changes, but those changes need not be accepted by Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha can pass the bill as they want it. So 4 is wrong. So only 1, 2, 3 are correct. 1, 2, 3 are correct. These kind of questions for the first time have come from this year. This year, matching 3 things, almost they have asked 5 questions of similar nature this year. So this is a very unique question on the defense services. It cannot be answered by students unless they specifically observe different positions in Army, Navy, Air Force, try to understand the power, authority, which is a unique interest. Only students having that interest can answer this question differently, others cannot answer this question. So here, only number 3, the squadron leader of Air Force is same as major in the Army and lieutenant commander in the Navy. So only 3 is right. All the remaining columns, the positions are quite different in each of the services. See, Northeastern Council was formed in 1971. It's a statutory body, not a constitutional board, statutory body through an act. And Northeastern Council was formed for developing the 8 northeastern states of India, particularly for their economic and social development together for more than 1 state out of the 8 states. And this question is about who are the members of the council. And UPSC's favorite topic is always who are the members, how many members. Repeatedly ask the question, so you have to focus such things. Here the members are the Chief Minister and Governor of all 8 states are members. And Home Minister is ex officio chairman of the Northeastern Development Council, Northeastern Council. And President nominates 3 members into this council. So all 4 are correct. All 4 are correct. Options D. Now, Nari Shakti Vandan Adhinayam. So this is nothing but Women Reservation Bill. Women Reservation Bill through Constitutional Amendment Act. As the Home Minister said that it will come into force after 2029 only. Presently, we are in the 18th Lok Sabha. Presently, it is not in the force. It will come after 2029 general election. Hence, 1 is wrong. And this bill, Women Reservation Bill, specifically tells that not less than 1/3 seats shall be reserved for women in Lok Sabha as well as state assemblies. Even the SC constituencies, SC women, ST constituencies, ST women, specifically according to this bill. So the provisions will come into effect not from 18th Lok Sabha. 1 is wrong. See, this question remaining 2 you can read, but as 1 is wrong, 1 is wrong. So where 1 is cancelled, by common sense also you can tell C is the answer. Without going through the remaining provisions, you can still tell 3 is the answer. See, Mitra Shakti is joint military exercise. India has joint military exercise with many countries. So with Sri Lanka we have Mitra Shakti. So it's a joint military exercise between India and Sri Lanka, not Bangladesh, friends, Sri Lanka. So 1 is wrong. As 1 is wrong, obviously you can cancel all the options having 1. Remaining 2 also, remaining 3 you can go through, but by common sense also you can say D is answer. Friends, writs are very important. Writs are very important in judiciary, in the polity. Students also have to remember and by heart different writs. Writ of prohibition is generally, a writ from a higher court. For higher court, specifically Supreme Court, High Court only. Higher court for a lower court. They prohibit the lower court from exceeding the jurisdiction. If lower court is doing anything beyond jurisdiction, they pass the writ of prohibition to stop that. So it is a lower court prohibiting. Option C is answer. This question is regarding scheduled tribes. See, in every state, based on the advice of the governor, President declares who comes under the ST category. But here they gave it is a governor of the state who recognizes. No, not the governor, it's the president. Hence, one is wrong. Second one, if a community is declared as scheduled tribe in one state, same community may not be declared as ST in other state because in that state, that community may be at advanced stage, developed state. Hence, not required. Hence, option 2 is correct. So, only 2 is right. So, regarding the union budget, which is very important topic in the polity constitution of India, annual financial statement is laid by finance minister on behalf of president, not prime minister. It is a president who lays the annual financial statement, that means budget, every year in the parliament. So one is wrong. Then, any demand for grant can be made only by the recommendation of the president. Without recommendation of president, you cannot make demand for grant. So hence 2 is right. 2 is right. So only 2. Friends, both the books, The India Way, Why Bharat Matters, are written by our Foreign Affairs Minister, External Affairs Minister, S. Jaishankar. And S. Jaishankar specifically wrote these books because, the global relations are changing very quickly. Post-COVID, there was a very quick, dynamical change in the relation between the countries. And the superpowers are also changing. So India, in order to become a superpower globally, have to change its role, the way it is conducting international relations with other countries. Regarding that only, he wrote both the books. So again, this is the international relations news. Argentina, there are 2 questions Argentina. This year, 27th question in this set, and one more question also is there for Argentina. Argentina economic crisis actually is deepening, and many citizens of Argentina are fleeing, migrating to other countries. So one is correct. Sudan, there is a war between the army and paramilitary forces. The head of paramilitary force are continuously at loggerheads. International community is also trying to, stop this war and trying to draw a ceasefire. This is also major news, continuously coming in the newspapers. Turkey has come out of the membership of NATO. No, it has not come out of membership of NATO. Of course, there are talks that Turkey should not be in NATO. There is some news that some members of NATO want to send Turkey out of the NATO, but Turkey did not come out of the NATO. 3 is wrong. Only 1 and 2 are correct. So only 2 pairs are 1 and 2. Only 2 pairs are correct. See, friends, this is Sumed. Sumed pipeline is strategic route. See, Sumed pipeline means if this is Africa, this Saudi Arabia, India, this is Europe, this is Mediterranean Sea, this is Red Sea, this is Persian Gulf. Sumed pipeline connects the Mediterranean Sea with Red Sea. That means from the Persian Gulf, we can bring the oil, natural gas to Red Sea. From Red Sea, using Sumed pipe, we can go to Mediterranean Sea. From there, it can enter into Europe. That is the importance of Sumed pipeline. So, Sumed pipeline is strategic route for the Persian Gulf, oil and natural gas shipments to Europe, which is correct. Sumed pipe connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea, which is also correct. Both are correct. So, both statements are correct, and it's a correct explanation also. Explanation also right. Because it is connecting them only, it has become strategically important. So, A is the answer. Now, Red Sea. Already we have seen Red Sea. Red Sea is here. Red Sea is between the African continent and Saudi Arabian Peninsula. Between those two is Red Sea. And Red Sea, friends, Red Sea receives very less rainfall in any form, precipitation, any form, rainfall for whatever, rainfall, snowfall, hailstones, whatever, very less, which is true. No water enters into Red Sea from rivers. See, there are some doubts. Some people say that the Nile River which flows in Africa, Though it enters into Mediterranean Sea, a part of Nile River, Nile Delta, a part of it is there in the Red Sea. Some water may enter into Red Sea. However, that some water cannot be considered really. We can simply say no water enters into Red Sea from the rivers. Though there are one or two rivers near to Red Sea, some water may be coming, but there is negligible amount of water. In geography, such negligible amounts we cannot consider. We cannot. Hence, we can say that no water enters into the Red Sea. No water is also correct. So both 1 and 2 are correct. Friends, what is the largest source of sulfur dioxide emissions? Sulfur dioxide emissions, largest source is thermal power plants. The power plants that uses the coal or the crude oil, they are the biggest releaser of sulfur dioxide. Option D. Friends, United States of America, USA, if it defaults on its debt, for example, USA, in any country actually collects the money by giving debt instruments like treasury bonds, securities. For USA, we call it as USA treasury bonds, US government securities. By issuing the securities, they collect the money required for the development of the country, infrastructure of the country. But if it defaults on the debt, that means if it is unable to pay back for those who are having those treasury bills or securities, in such case, holders of the US treasury bonds, holders will not be able to, get their money back. Of course, see, for example, if I am holding US treasury bond, and if USA defaults on the debt, how can I get my money back? I cannot get money back. It's correct only. It's correct. But generally, they won't default because USA is the largest country, and we have trust on that. Generally, they don't default. But if they defaults, definitely we cannot get the money back. Statement 2. USA government debt is not backed by hard assets. Of course, see, USA government debt is in billions of dollars. That much amount is not backed by any hard assets like gold or metals or land, nothing like that. It's only backed by the faith and credit. Faith and credit, that's all. So this is also correct. So both statements are correct. And it's right. The explanation also correct. There are some countries which failed. Actually, some some of the PIGS countries actually failed. Then European Union has come into picture and tried to help those countries, but USA will not default in general. Now, next question. Syndicated lending. Friends, syndicated lending means if any big company, for example, I am a big company, I want to take loan, a single person may not give me loan. Some 10 people together, they form a syndicate and they'll give me loan. Why? Because if I fail to repay the loan, the risk will be not for single person, the risk will be distributed, spread across all the 10 loan givers. That's why they form syndicate and give loan to big corporates or governments. To the governments, they give syndicated loan. So syndicated lending spreads the risk of borrower, which is correct only. Similarly, syndicated loan can be a fixed amount. It cannot be a credit line. Nothing like this. See, it cannot be fixed amount. They can follow credit line. They can give, for example, 1 million this year, 1 more million next year. They can follow a credit line. For example, if I am a country, a syndicate is giving the loan to the country. First, they give some amount. If the country performs well, some more amount they will release. So credit line also be given. Even by using common sense also we can tell, why will any lender give a single amount? Any lender generally will give credit line, no? So 2 is wrong. 1 is correct. So only 1 is correct. C. 1 is correct. C. Friends, digital rupee. See, digital rupee or e-rupee. Digital rupee or e-rupee is similar to the currency. RBI prints currency and distributes it through certain economic process throughout India, monetary process as monetary policy. Just like currency, RBI has released e-rupee, also called as the digital rupee. Now, regarding the digital rupee, it is a sovereign currency issued by RBI, which is true. Just like currency, it is true. It appears as liability on RBI's balance sheet, correct? Not only digital rupee, currency also appears as liability only on the balance sheet. It is insured against inflation. See, no currency is insured against inflation, currency, because they won't pay any interest. Inflation can be 4%, 5% every year, but you won't earn it. For example, I have 10 rupees note. I will not earn interest of inflation 4%, 5% every year. Same with digital rupee also. It's not secured again in inflation. 3 is wrong. It is freely convertible against commercial bank, just like, as I told you, just like a normal cash currency, it can be freely convertible. So you can keep in your mind all the points regarding cash, currency, same you can use for rupee also. So 1, 2 and 4 are correct. Friends, Gautam Buddha is known by several names in the ancient history, several names. For example, they call him Shakyamuni, they call him Tathagata, but not Nayaputta. Because Nayaputta is for Jains, Mahavir Jain. Mahavir Jain is called using the name Nayaputta. Gautam Buddha, Nayaputta. Gautam Buddha is called only by the name Shakyamuni, Tathagata. So 2 and 3 are correct. This is there in the old NCERT. Old NCERT has both the names. As I told you, the 3 columns matching, this year they have tried for the first time. It's very interesting also. This is archaeological site, which state, and what it is famous for. Actually, all 4 are correct only. All 4 are archaeological sites only. All 4 are archaeological sites only, and all 4 are in the same states. States also correct. These, if the question is about only these 2 rows, I would go for all 4 are correct. All 4 correct. However, the third description, is wrong for some options. For example, the Chandraketagur is not a port town. It's not a port town, Chandraketagur. Similarly, Salihundam does not have any rock cut shrines. It has stupas, but it does not have rock cut caves. So these 2 are wrong. Remaining 2 are correct. For example, Inamgaon in Maharashtra is famous for Chalcolithic site. A Chalcolithic age is from 3300 BC to 1300 BC. During that time, they have grown barley, wheat, and lentils. All of them can be seen in Inamgaon. It is Inamgaon. It is there in old NCERT, new NCERT also. And actually, Mangadu is a place both in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, but this is not there in the NCERT. Maybe you should read from current affairs or any other standard books. So Mangadu is a place in Kerala where megalithic site, megalithic burials, megalithic burial grounds, megalithic tombs are there, made of laterite. In Kerala, we have laterite rocks. So using laterite rocks, burials were formed, and that can be seen. So only 2 and 3 are correct. 1, 2 and 3 are correct. See, Portuguese in the medieval India, when Portuguese came to India, they were given permission to build a fort in Badkal. Badkal is a place in Karnataka. They are given permission by Krishna Devaraya of Vijayanagara kingdom in 1510. In the same year, actually Krishna Devaraya helped Portuguese to occupy Goa, which was earlier ruled by Bijapur kings. So Krishna Devaraya helped Portuguese to occupy Goa from Bijapur, and he actually made an agreement sanctioning the construction of fort of Badkal. Later on, it was utilized. It was used by Bahamani kings, other kings in the next few years. Friends, Lord Cornwallis. Generally, Governor Generals are important for UPSC examination. You should know during each Governor General what specifically unique things he has done. During Lord Cornwallis, under the Raitwari settlement, if the peasants were unable to get a good harvest, if due to cyclone or storm or due to drought, if there was a bad harvest, then as per the Raitwari settlement of revenue collection, for example, if the revenue that shall be collected is 10 rupees, let us say, but that year bad harvest was there. So farmers, peasants were unable to pay 10 rupees. Then it was reduced to 4 rupees, 5 rupees, 6 rupees based on the capacity of the peasant that was there in the Raitwar settlement. Here they gave that the peasants were exempted from the revenue. See, they were not exempted. Exempted means zero. Exempted means making the revenue payment zero. That was not the case. They were only remitted. Amount was reduced. Hence, one is wrong. Second one, now permanent settlement. See, permanent settlement is a famous topic for UPSC. Many questions have come for last 20 years on the same topic. Under the permanent settlement, if a Jamindar Jamindar did not pay the required revenue collecting from the peasants, he has to pay to the British government. If he fails to pay, he will be removed and other Jamindar will be kept in his place, who is more capable of collecting them from the peasants and giving it to British government. Hence, this is correct. 2 is correct. So only 2 is correct. Friends, this question is Upanishads. There are no parables. Actually, parables is stories. Parables is small stories of philosophy or spirituality to convey a message. Here mentioned that there are no parables in Upanishads, but Upanishads have some parables. Of course, not as many parables as Buddhist stories, whatever, but Upanishads have got some parables, small parables. Hence, no parables is wrong. Then Upanishads were composed before Puranas. See, Upanishads were part of Vedas from almost 1800 BCE to almost 300 BCE. Upanishads, they are very old. Whereas Puranas were only in the AD. Puranas were from only 200 AD to almost 1500 AD. Puranas. So definitely Upanishads were older, earlier. 2 Puranas. So 2 is correct. So only 2. Friends, regarding the International Grains Council, which actually focuses on promoting the trade in the grains, India is a member of it. It's a fact, member of it. However, it's not compulsory that you should be a member of International Grains Council. Only if you are a member, then all you can trade. Nothing like that. There are many countries which are not members of the Grains Council. Still, they can export and import. So 2 is wrong. Only 1 is correct. Friends, intangible cultural heritage means intangible. See, tangible cultural heritage means buildings, monuments which you can see. Physically, you can feel them. Intangible means the art forms, knowledge, traditional knowledge. They come under the intangible cultural heritage list of UNESCO. So, all these are actually part of intangible cultural heritage list of UNESCO. Durga Puja was added recently, 2021, and Garba dance. Actually, Garba dance is folk dance of Gujarat. Added to 23. Remaining 2 are even older. They were added before 5-6 years. So the recent one is definitely the Garba dance. Recent one. Friends, as I told you, questions on Africa are more this year on African continent regarding the Sudan. So Sahel region, actually Sahel region means if you take Africa, Sahel region is this region, almost like central region. Many countries fall under Sahel region. In the Sahel region, the question statement 1 says that the security situation is worsening and instability means there is no political stability, there is no single government taking care of the people there, which is true. Many countries are actually falling under this instability, and because of the instability, when there is no political stability, obviously there will be takeover by the military or the groups coming from other countries, which will take over, which will occupy the vacuum. So there have been military takeover and coups happening in there. So both are correct and the right explanation also. Friends, India does not import apples from USA. No, India actually importing apples, and USA is very happy about that. The USA apple exporters are very happy that India is actually importing, because India is a large consumer of apples. So statement 1 is wrong. We are importing. Statement 2 says that in India the law prohibits import of genetically modified food. That's true. In India, Food Safety Standards Authority of India, under the Food Safety Standards Act of India, any genetically modified food crop or non-food crop, either producing it in India, manufacturing in India, or importing in other country, for all these things permission is required. Even within India also, FSSAI gave permission only for the BT cotton. Other than BT cotton, no other crop has been given permission for genetic modification in India. So it is right. The law prohibits the import. So statement 2 is correct. 1 is wrong. Hence, 1 is wrong, hence D. 1 is wrong, but 2 is correct. First, regarding the speaker. Again, speaker is a very important topic in UPSC. It's an interesting topic also in UPSC. in Parliament, in Constitution of India polity. With reference to Speaker of Lok Sabha, see, if the resolution is about the removal of Speaker, once the resolution is about removal of Speaker, he will no more sit as Speaker. He will go and sit as a general member of the Parliament. And he will participate in the Parliament proceedings as general member. So he can do anything the general member does. For example, he has the right to speak. He has a right to speak. And he can vote in the first instance. Speaker, when he is not a speaker, when he is not sitting as speaker, definitely he has right to speak. He can vote at first instance like any other member of the Parliament. Hence, both 2 and 3 are wrong, because here they mention shall not have right to vote, shall not have right to speak or vote. Both are wrong. Shall not preside is correct, because he will not preside as speaker, because resolution about his removal, how can he preside? Hence, common sense also, 1 is correct, 2 and 3 are wrong. So only 1. You should be very careful. You should watch whether the question is about correct or wrong, because many students make the mistake. See whether it's correct or wrong. The question is correct. So 1 is correct, 2 and 3 are wrong. Now again, regarding Parliament, Lok Sabha, bill pending in Lok Sabha. As you know very clearly, if a bill comes out of Lok Sabha and goes into Rajya Sabha, a bill is passed by Lok Sabha. And after that, if Lok Sabha, dissolves, the bill also lapses. However, if the bill is passed by Rajya Sabha and goes to Lok Sabha, then the bill does not lapse. Similarly, when both the houses pass the bill, goes to President, or when there is an impasse and President calls for joint sitting, in such cases, the bill won't lapse. And this is a very important topic. Actually, all the points of when the bill lapses, when the Lok Sabha dissolves, is a very important topic. Here, the bill pending in Lok Sabha lapses, or dissolution is correct. The bill which is pending in Lok Sabha lapses automatically in dissolution. The bill passed by Lok Sabha pending in Rajya Sabha also lapses. Because it is not passed by Rajya Sabha now, still pending, means lapses. The bill regard to which joint sitting, see, once joint sitting is conducted by President, it does not lapse. And notified mention, some houses are sitting in the discussion resolution like Sabha. The bill in regard to which President of India notified intention to summon joint sitting on resolution of the Lok Sabha, I think his statement is the bill lapses is the point. I think they did not mention here. So the bill lapses only in the first 2 cases, but not in the 3rd case. So 1 and 2 are correct. Then with reference to Parliament of India, this is about prorogation of the House. Prorogation of a House means ending the session of the House. It's called prorogation. So prorogation of a House by advice of the Council of Ministers. See, generally President has the power to do prorogation of the House, but he no need to go by the advice of Council of Ministers. He definitely can consider the advice of Prime Minister along with Council of Ministers, can give him advice, he can follow them. Otherwise also, it is his discretion of President of India whether to prorogate or no. Hence, you cannot say that he has to go by the advice. It is wrong. Next, prorogation of House is generally done after adjourned sign day. Actually, adjourned sign day, as you know, sign day, it's Latin term. Adjournment of a session means when session is going, Parliament session is going, they can adjourn it many times by telling that it is postponed to afternoon session or tomorrow, whatever. Means a session continues but has a lot of breaks. So the breaks are called adjournments. However, adjourned sign day means they break the session without further date. That means mostly that Parliament session is over. Either the winter session or monsoon session is over. At that time, they call it as adjourned sign day. Only after adjourned sign day, prorogation of the House is done. Or can it be done even when the House is in session? It can be done actually. Prorogation of a House can be done even when the House session, because it is discretion of President. Under exceptional circumstances, if President in his own discretion, in her own discretion, can actually prorogate the House even when in session. Same applies to the state government also. State assembly also, governor can do that. Governor has done that in West Bengal once. When the assembly is in session, he has gone for prorogation. So 2 is correct. Dissolution of Lok Sabha is done by the President by the advice of Council of Ministers, except in exceptional circumstances. Correct. Generally, Lok Sabha is dissolved mostly upon the advice of Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. But in some exceptional circumstances like political deadlock, constitutional crisis, when there is no majority, President can, on his discretion, can take a decision of dissolve Lok Sabha. So, this is correct. So, 2 and 3 are correct. See, this is regarding the Net Zero Industry Act that has recently come into the force. In February 2024, the European Union and Council have made agreement on the Net Zero Industry Act, where more investment will come in clean technology, implementation of clean technology, so that by 2050 there will be net neutrality. So, European Parliament approved the Net Zero Industry is correct. European Union intends to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, not 40. This is wrong. Hence, only statement 1 is correct. 1 is correct. Friends, one more question on Venezuela. See, Venezuela has achieved a rapid recovery. See, Venezuela has got economic crisis. Many are fleeing the country. However, there is no rapid recovery. Even now also, people are migrating, going out of country. Migrating. There is no rapid recovery. So, 1 is wrong. And 2, Venezuela is the world's largest oil reserve, which is known from current affairs from several years. 2 is correct. It has the world's largest oil reserves. 2 is correct. 1 is wrong. So, D. 1 is wrong. 2 is correct. See, Digital India land records. Actually, we have land records physically, and government is on a mission mode, trying to digitize all the land records. And central government has taken it so seriously that 2016, government made it a central sector scheme. Central sector scheme means 100% funding from central government. So, to implement the scheme, central government provides 100%. That's correct. And all the land maps, manual maps on the land boundaries, the legality of the land, who it belongs to whom, all these things are digitized. It's correct. And translation of the records into only the 8th schedule, whatever languages are there in the 8th schedule of India, the land records shall be translated into the 8th schedule languages, which are accepted in the constitution in India, is also being done. So, all 3 are correct. All 3 are correct. Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan. According to these friends, they have given 2 statements. The first one says that it guarantees a minimum package of antenatal care of women in their 2nd and 3rd trimesters. Means each trimester consists of 3 months. So, 2nd trimester and 3rd trimester. That means from 4th month to 9th month. During the time, the scheme guarantees minimum package of antenatal care, which is true in all government hospitals. And 6 months post-delivery. See, the post-delivery is not actually part of this scheme. Post-delivery. After delivery, the scheme does not address. The scheme addresses only 2nd trimester and 3rd trimester. Hence, this option is wrong. And in this scheme, even private doctors or NGOs can also enroll themselves, and they combine with the government hospitals to be a part of this Matritva Abhiyan scheme. Hence, 2 is correct. So, only 2 is correct. The next question is about Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan. This is actually for unorganized workers. Unorganized workers in their old age, for protection and social security, they can start contributing when they come into the workforce right from the age of 18 years to 40 years. During this time, they can enroll and they can contribute the amount to the government, and in their old age, they get the social security. So, the entry age group of enroll, and see, if you enter 18 or 19, enter 20, based on the age you contribute, based on the age only the pension also comes. So, the entry age group for enrollment in the scheme is 21 is wrong, it's 18 to 40. Age specific contribution, based on at what age you enter, based on the contribution will be changing. And those who are contributing will receive a minimum of 3,000 rupees per month after they attain 60 years, which is generally retirement age. During the old age, minimum of 3,000 rupees is guaranteed per month as per the scheme. And the family pension is applicable to spouse in case of the death of the male member or female member. Their spouse will get the amount. The spouse will get 50% of the amount. Because if both are there, it will, let us say, 3,000 rupees. If only one is alive, they get half of the amount. But it does not go to the unmarried daughters. Only spouse gets it, not daughters. So 4 is wrong. So only 2 and 3 are correct. Only 2 and 3 are correct. And the 51st question, it is regarding the incoming solar radiations versus the outgoing solar radiation, which is also called as long wave radiation. Generally, if this is Earth and Sun, the rays coming from the Sun are short wave solar radiation, also called as insolation, which has very high energy. It cannot be stopped by the atmospheric greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, so it passes through all of them. However, after the Earth becomes hot, it starts releasing terrestrial radiation, which are also called as long wave radiation. These waves are stopped by atmospheric greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, because of which the atmosphere is heated by them. So here, the atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation is wrong. The atmosphere is heated more by outgoing terrestrial radiation. And second point, carbon dioxide, other greenhouse gas atmosphere are good absorbs of long wave radiation, which is true. The greenhouse gases can absorb terrestrial radiation, which is correct. Hence, 1 is wrong and 2 is correct. 1 is wrong and statement 2 is correct. D is answer. Now again climatology only. Climatology question in the physical geography. Thickness of troposphere is different at equator and polar region because troposphere is nothing but, see, if this is Earth, the atmosphere above the Earth is divided into few layers. The first layer of atmosphere is called troposphere, where there is regional mixing of gases. The mixing happens because the hot atmosphere, which is very close to the Earth. If you take the Earth, the atmosphere which is in contact with the Earth becomes very hot by conduction from the Earth, and this hot air is of light weight. Because of light weight, it starts rising up, which is called as convective currents. So it rises to a greater height along the equator, because along the equator the air is hotter, along the poles air is colder. So hot air is less weight, has less weight. Hence at equator the air goes to greater height. The convection currents are higher. At polar areas it's lower. That's why troposphere, which is nothing but regional mixing of gases, troposphere, is thicker along the equator and thinner along the polar region. So the first statement, thickness of troposphere, if this is Earth, if I have this equator, if I have draw troposphere, I will draw troposphere like this. At equator it is thick, at pole it is very thin. So thickness of troposphere at the equator is much greater, correct. At the equator, second statement, at the equator, heat is transported to greater heights, which is also correct, because of strong convectional current. Convectional current means hot air rising up. So both statements are correct. And the explanation is also correct. Answer is A. Friends, in volcanic eruptions, different types of materials, the solid, liquid, gas, of all kinds of chemical compounds come out. You no need to even see which compound comes or not. All compounds come out during the volcanic eruption. So all are correct. All 4 are correct. See, isothermal maps. Isotherm means an imaginary line connecting the points having same temperature. For example, here they're asking the isothermal map in January. January is winter season for northern hemisphere. If you take northern hemisphere, if you take the northern hemisphere of the earth, let us say these dots are ocean and no dots is land. So what happens? In the winter season, land is very cool, water is warmer. So along the equator, as I told you, the dots is water and the dots is ocean and no dots is a continent, land. So land is colder. Along the water, close to equator, if temperature is 40 degrees temperature. If here temperature is 30 degrees and 20 degrees, 20, 30, at the land, 30 degrees comes very close to equator, but at the water, 30 degrees away from the equator. So the colder lines are near to equator on the land and away from equator in the ocean in January. Whereas in June and July, summer season reverses. So here we are talking about only January month isothermal maps. So isothermal maps deviate to the north over the ocean. Over the ocean, they are north. Over the land, they come to the south. South over the land, which is correct. Correct for the winter season in northern hemisphere. The presence of cold ocean currents, Gulf Stream and North Atlantic Drift make the North Atlantic Ocean colder. No, friends, see, if you take this is Africa, South America, this is South America, North America, Africa, South America, North America, Europe. This is Atlantic Ocean. In Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf Stream and the North Atlantic Drift, they come from equator. As the Gulf Stream and North Atlantic Drift come from the equator, they are warmer. They are not cold. They are warmer. Here they mentioned that Gulf Stream and North Atlantic Drift make the ocean colder, which is wrong. They make it warmer. So 2 is wrong. 1 is correct. So only 1. Which of the following countries are the largest producers of cocoa? This is direct factual question. You should be knowing it if you study the newspapers. So answer is Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana as highest cocoa production in the world. If you take Himalayan rivers, friend, if you take India map, the Ganga River shows like this. This is Ganga River. If this is Allahabad, they're asking below Allahabad, in the downstream, Gomati, Gagara, Gandak, Kosi. This is order. Gomati, Gangara. See, it's like this. If this is a river, Gomati, Gagara, Gandak, and Kosi is the order from west to east. This is there in NCRT. NCRT, the Indian Physical Geography, direct question. Answer is B. Rainfall is one of the reasons for weathering of rocks. Weathering of rocks means basically mechanical disintegration or chemical decomposition of rocks. It happens by physical pressure or chemical reaction. When there is rainfall, both are there. When raindrops fall, there is mechanical pressure, integration. And this rainwater contains carbon dioxide and also atmospheric oxygen. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere dissolves in the rainwater to make it carbonic acid, which actually weathers the rock chemically. Similarly, atmospheric oxygen also is dissolved in the rainwater, and the rainwater touches the rock. Again, the atmospheric oxygen reacts with the rock chemically. So, carbon dioxide, atmospheric oxygen, both of them dissolve in the rainwater and weathers the rocks. Hence, option A is correct, because both statement 1, statement 2 and statement 3, both of them are reason for statement 1. Now, which of the following countries are the borders of North Sea? See, North Sea means, if this is Africa, this is UK, this is Norway, this is Denmark, this is Germany, this is Netherlands. So the borders of this is the North Sea. The countries bordering the North Sea are UK, Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, Germany. Among those, they have given only these two countries they give, Germany and Norway. So only two. Only two is answer. Here friends, they are giving waterfalls, region and river. If it is only waterfalls and region, all three are correct. But coming to the river, the Duandar Narmada waterfalls are Narmada river correct, Kundru are on Subarna correct, but Gerasappa are not on Netravati, they are on Sharavati. They are on Sharavati. So 3 is wrong. Only 2 options are correct. 2 are correct. Waterfalls is important topic. Previous rounds UPSC gave questions on that. And here they gave the region and types of mountain. Types of mountain. Actually, Alps, which is in the southern Europe, Alps are fold mountains. Fold mountains are formed when two plates, continents, when 2 plates collide. Heavier plate goes down, lighter plate folds upwards, folds like Himalayan mountain, Alps, Appalachian mountains, Andes, Rockies, all these mountains are fold mountains. Alps are fold. And Vosges are block mountains. Block mountains occur when there is a fault or fracture, when 2 parts go aside and middle part either drops down, or when 2 parts come close, middle part going up. In both ways, block mountains form generally. And Vosges is a block mountain. So first 2 are interchanged. So they are wrong. The remaining 2, Appalachians in North America, they are in the eastern part of North America. If you take the North America map, west side you have Rockies, east side Appalachians. Both are folded mountains. So Appalachians are folded mountains, correct. And Andes is, if you take South America map, Andes is on the west of South America. And these are also fold mountains. Both are correct. 3 and 4 are right. 3 and 4 are right. 2 options. Now, this kind of questions are coming in UPSC for last 3 to 4 years. They are giving some examples and asking which species, is it bird, fish, insect. So cicadas, froghopper, pond, they are all insects. It is there in NCERT biology also, NCERT biology. You don't need to know all the 3. Even if you know at least 1 is insect, you can mark the answer. Friends, because of chewing gums, because of bubble gums, chewing gums, almost 1 lakh tons of plastic pollution is coming onto the earth. Because chewing gum, finally what you throw out is actually polymer, it's a plastic, so it's a environmental pollution. So statement 1, chewing gums considered as environmental pollution is correct, and they consist of polymers, plastic is also correct. Both are correct. So both statements are correct, right explanation. Friends, here they gave the animals and their native of which country. See, Indri is one kind of lemur, but it's a very big lemur. Among all the lemurs, it's a very big lemur, Indri, the animal. Elk is kind of deer. It's a kind of deer, but very big sized deer family, belongs to deer family. And bonobo is a chimpanzee. It has almost 99% of bonobo's DNA matches with the human DNA. So chimpanzee, which is very similar to human being. So these are the animals. Now they're asking these animals belong to which country? See, Indri belongs to Madagascar. So first option is wrong. Then elk, actually Indonesia is confusing because elk actually belongs to East Asia and North America. Leave North America, East Asia. East Asia is very close to Indonesia, but it is not in Indonesia. Indonesia is not a native place of elk. So it's wrong. Bonobo is also confusing. Bonobo, if you take Africa map, Bonobo is here. This is the place of Bonobo. Madagascar is here. So again, it's confusing. We think that it may be in Madagascar, but it's in Central Africa. So 2 and 3 are very close, but all are wrong options. So all are wrong. None. Friends, World Trade Organization. UPSC's favorite topic is giving organizations which are non-profit. For example, previous also they gave several organizations. This year they gave World Toil Organization, WTO, which is a non-profit organization based out of Singapore, but it has got consultative status in UNESCO. It has got consultative status in UNESCO, but it is not an agency of United Nations, no. And WTO has started World Toilet Summit, World Toilet Day, World Toilet College. It started all these things. All initiatives are correct only. And the main focus is to grant funds. No, it cannot grant funds. It's not such an organization that is financially strong and grants funds. It's all advisory in nature. Creates awareness about sanitation, how to solve the sanitation crisis present existing across the world. So it does not grant funds. So only 2 is correct. Only 2 is correct. So you have to focus on any environmental organization that you come across in the newspapers. Now this is about the behavior of animals, which UP is asking for the last 3 to 4 years. They take an animal and they ask the mannerisms, behavior of the animals. For example, lions do not have a particular breeding season. They breed throughout the year, which is correct. And cheetahs do not roar. That's correct. They do not roar. They have other means of communication by hissing, etc. And male leopards do not, do scent marking. No, see, most of the animals, almost all the animals do scent marking, particularly this kind of male leopards, lions, even dogs also do scent marking. So, male leopards do not do scent, is wrong. They actually do scent marking. By urinating, they do scent marking. So, only 1 and 2 are correct. See, what is 100 million farmers has been in news consistently. 100 million farmers means actually because of climate change, agriculture is getting impacted. So this initiative is a global initiative where the farmers across the world are trained in climate smart technologies to be resilient to the climate change, helps in carbon sequestration, uses very less water, sustainable agriculture, so that food crisis does not occur. They are very close to the natural farming. These are the ideas of 100 million farmers. So, among all the options given, it is very close to net zero, nature positive. Hence, option A is correct. Friends, what is distributed energy resources? Distributed means they are actually decentralized energy resources. That means in India also, there are some remote villages where there is no electrification, there is no power supply. There, only for that village, you can develop a bioplant, or you can use solar photovoltaic cells, and you can generate the power very close to where consumption is done. The point where consumption of power is done, very close to it, you can develop decentralized energy distributors and you can use them. So all the four examples of distributed energy resources. So all the 4. See, which of the following plant or species is very close to an insect where the insect wasp pollinates only fix and fix are pollinated only by wasp. So they undergo co-evolution. Answer is A. Friends, these kind of questions you might not have studied. Only the biology students may be knowing the poisonous frogs, poisonous butterflies, and poisonous fishes. We do not know, but generally, almost all species in this world, fishes, there are many varieties of fishes are there. Butterflies, many varieties are there. Frogs, many varieties. Definitely, some of them will be poisonous. Using common sense, some of them are poisonous. But specifically, which varieties are poisonous, only if you read more biology, you'll understand. But then, these kind of questions, I feel, using common sense also, you can tell that at least few varieties of these species are poisonous. So all 3. Friends, here they gave some fauna and they are native of which countries? Maybe India or some other country. For example, red sanders, as you know from Pushpa movie also, red sanders are native of India. Even the present government of Andhra Pradesh said that they want to stop. They decided they are developing a mechanism to stop the smuggling of red sanders. It is native of India, definitely, red sanders. There was a question on red sanders previously also in UPSC. Papaya cashew nut, for example, cashew nut is native to Brazil, and papaya is native to Central America, between North and South Central America and Mexico also. So these two are wrong. Only Red Sanders, only one option, Red Sanders. But which of the airports are, greenfield? Greenfield means earlier there is no airport there. They start constructing from the scratch and develop the airport. It's called greenfield airport. For example, if you take Vijayawada International Airport, Vijayawada Airport is there for many years. It is just converted into International Airport, converted. So it's not greenfield. It's not greenfield. So 3 is wrong. If 3 is wrong, obviously you can cancel all these 3s and A is answer. Otherwise, in the newspaper also, you might have seen the airport in Arunachal Pradesh, Itanagar, and airport in Uttar Pradesh, Kushinagar. These two are greenfield airports. Actually, government has developed 14 greenfield airports in the last few years, 14. Water vapor. Friends, among all the gas in atmosphere, for example, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, these gases are there up to several kilometers atmosphere, but water vapor generally do not exist beyond 5 kilometers. Very close to the earth, where water is there, where water evaporates, very close to the earth, there is more water vapor. As you go up slowly, water vapor converts into water or ice. You won't find much water vapor as you go up. So here they said that it is a gas, it is correct. The amount decreases with altitude, reduces altitude, which is correct. At the poles, it's not maximum, it's minimum. Because at equator, because of more sun rays, more water evaporation, hence more water vapor. At poles, less sun rays, hence less evaporation, less water vapor. So 2 is wrong, only 1 is correct. Friend, in this question, see, range of temperature, annual means between summer season and winter season, the difference of temperature is very less. Daily means in the night time and afternoon times. The difference is very less temperature, which is suitable for equatorial climate and marine west coast. Equator, center of the earth, equator, where sun rays are there throughout the year. Hence, there is no much temperature differences. West coast climate also, west coast climate means, if you take world map, Western North America, Western South America, Western Europe have west coast climate, coastal climate. Wherever coastal climate is, wherever coast is there, wherever sea is there, the ocean moderates the climate. You always see in Hyderabad, in the interior, hinterland, extreme temperatures. Winters are very cold, summers are very hot. But coastal regions are not like that because ocean has moderating effect. So west coast climate also has very low range of temperature, So first option for A and D, both are correct. Precipitation occurs throughout the year. In equatorial climate, there is precipitation throughout the year, rainfall. In marine west coast also, as it's close to the coast, as along the coast, rainfall is there throughout the year. Of course, in winter season, more rainfall, summer less rainfall, but still rainfall throughout the year. Equatorial throughout the year. So 1 and 2, if you observe 1 and 2, both A and D, both are correct. But if you come to the third option, precipitation varies between 50 to 250 centimeters. 50 centimeters means very less rainfall. Maybe in marine west coast climate, in summer season, very less rainfall. Winter season, very high, 250 centimeters. Range is very high. But equatorial climate, that much range won't be there. Throughout the year, almost same rainfall. Almost same. Maybe some variation is there, but this much variation will not be there. Hence, purely based on the third point, you can say answer is marine west coast. If third point is removed, only 1 and 2, if observe, A and D both are correct. So with reference to Coriolis force, friends, Coriolis force means deviation of moving object towards right hand side in northern hemisphere, left hand side southern hemisphere. And Coriolis force will increase if the speed of the wind increases. That's what they mention here. It increases with the velocity of the wind, Coriolis force, which is true. And it is maximum at the poles. Actually, along the equator, Coriolis force is 0. As latitudes increase, Coriolis force increases towards the polar area. So, 2 is also correct. So, both are correct. Friends, June 21st is the summer solstice. If you take the earth, in the month of March and September, let's take March. In March, sun is above the equator. By June 21st, sun exactly goes on to Tropic of Cancer. Sun is exactly on Tropic of Cancer. This is the peak of summer season for entire northern hemisphere. During that time, entire northern hemisphere will have more day than night. That means entire northern hemisphere, the sun rays will be there for more than 12 hours. Now what is the northern hemisphere? Tropic of Cancer in northern hemisphere. Arctic Circle is here is northern hemisphere. See, equator is not northern hemisphere. Equator is a place where sunlight is for 12 hours throughout the year, 12 hours. So you cannot consider it as a part of northern hemisphere. Tropic of Capricorn is southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere means it's here. So on June 21st, Tropic of Capricorn is winter season, Capricorn, where day is less, night is more. Hence answer is only 2 and 4. Only 2 and 4. Actually, on June 21st, on Arctic Circle, you can find sun in the midnight also. That means 24 hours there will be sunlight. So 2 and 4 is answer. In December, exact opposite. If the question is December, no, in December, which is summer season for southern hemisphere, in December, all Tropic of Capricorn will have more day than night. See, world's largest peatland, world's largest tropical peatland is Congo Basin. Congo Basin in Africa, tropical rainforest, Congo. Friends, perfluoroalkyl. See, perfluoroalkyl are highly used in the industries where consumer goods are manufactured and they are disposed of into the environment, because of which they are mixing with the drinking water and they dissolve in the drinking water, because of which we find them in the drinking water, food that we eat, and even the plants that we grow, which is correct. And they are not degradable. Just like plastic in the atmosphere, the perfluoroalkyls stay back, not on the atmosphere, not on the environment. Even when you consume it into the body, they stay in the body. They don't digest, they don't come out also. They bioaccumulate in the body. So bioaccumulation is correct. They are not degraded is also correct. So all three are correct. Friends, parasitoid means it's parasite and predator combination. It is both parasite as well as a predator. That means some kind of flies which go into another organism, they stay inside the host. Generally, host is a larger organism, host. Parasite is smaller organism which goes into the host. Inside the host, it grows, it develops. Finally, it kills the host. Such kind of organisms are called parasitoids. So among these, only flies, termites and wasps are the parasitoids. They are very dangerous. They are parasites and predators also. They kill the host also. So answer is only 3. Only 3 among the 5. Friends, what is P family? P family means Fibonaccia. Almost 20,000 varieties of species are there within P family, Fibonaccia. They give few varieties, all the 3. Actually, Fibonaccia is one kind of flowering plant. All the 3 belong to Fibonaccia, the P family. Friends, Indian flying fox, actually it is a bat. It is a bat that eats fruits. It's called fruit bat. It is called Great Indian Fruit Bat because native to India. It's a bat that eats fruits. But the problem is it destroys the fruit fields. When they invade the fruit fields, fruits destroy the fruits. That's why they are given the status of vermin. They are given the status of vermin. Vermin means which affects agriculture. Any species, any animal that destroys agriculture, affects the peasants, farmers, can be mentioned as vermin and they can be hunted down. Otherwise, wild animals generally should be protected. As per the Indian laws, wild animals should be protected. But if the wild animal is destroying the agriculture, definitely we can call it as a vermin and it can be hunted down. So, Indian flying fox, which is nothing but the Great Indian Fruit Bat, belongs to vermin category. Because it destroys the fruit. See, it feeds on the blood of other animals. No, it feeds on the fruits. But it has advantages also. This flying fox actually helps in pollination and it spreads the fruit seeds. So advantage is also there. So only one is correct. Only one. Statement 1 is correct and 2 is wrong. Total fertility rate, its definition, it is there in economy and geography also, human geography also, directly it is there. It is defined as, for fertility means by the end of the fertility period of women, how many live births the woman has on average given to. On average, how many births the woman has given during her fertility period is called as total fertility rate. Average number of live births women would have by the end of childbearing. Childbearing age means fertility age. So D. Friends, in the statements, foreign institutional second option, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. Correct. See, government securities can be bought by anyone. So FIAs can also buy government securities. Actually, it helps the government securities because government securities, through them, government pools the money, and FIAs can actually purchase more G6 because of their institutional capacity to invest more. So 2 is correct. In India, stock exchanges like Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, they also can actually offer trading platform. For example, National Stock Exchange started the trading platform way back in 2009 itself. So it's correct. So 2 and 3 are correct. And 1, NBFCs can access the LAF. Friends, actually liquidity adjustment facility window, LAF, mostly consists of the repo rate, reverse repo rate. Generally, we think that only banks can access them. But in fact, non-banking finance companies also can access them. They can. But whether they're accessing or not is actually difficult to tell because in the recent past, they have not accessed. NBFC have not accessed the LAF window much, but actually they can access. That's why this option is a controversial option. They can access. I feel they can access. It's very clear, but they are not accessing. In the last few years, they're not accessing. Maybe in 2009, 10, 11, they access slightly, but now they're not accessing. That's why some say option A is right, some say option A is wrong, but I feel option is correct only. It's correct. They can access. So all 3 are correct. All 3 are correct. See, who can trade in the corporate bond and G6? Of course, all of them can trade in the government securities. Just like how FIAs can buy G6, all these companies, investors or pension funds can buy government securities. And even insurance companies, pension funds, of course, they have to be safe. Insurance company, pension funds shall be safe because they are pooling the money from the general public. They cannot invest in the risky bonds, but to some extent, there is some extent limit. To some extent, they can invest in the corporate bonds also. 100% they cannot invest, but to some extent they can invest. Hence, all 3 are correct. Friends, what are financial instruments? Basically, financial instruments is a legal agreement, legal contract by which for one party it is an asset, for other party it is a liability. Such kind of legal agreements are called as financial instruments. They can be traded in the market like stocks, bonds, exchange traded funds, forex. See, for example, here they give exchange traded funds. Even stocks also they can give, bonds also they can give, and forex also. In forex, currency swap is one kind of forex, that's all. So forex is also legal contract where it is an asset to someone and liability to other. And exchange traded funds are also they are also financial instruments. So 1 and 3 are correct. But motor vehicles are commodities. Motor vehicles, agricultural goods are commodities. Commodities cannot be liability to one and asset to another. They cannot be. And commodities are not legal contracts. First of all, commodities are not legal contracts. Hence, by the definition of financial instruments, 2 is wrong. Only 1 and 3. Only 1 and 3. Friends, sectors of economy is very important. Primary sector means direct production, agriculture, dairy farming, mineral exploitation, directly what you take from the earth, the ground is called prime sector. Secondary means of taking them. For example, you have taken the cotton and then start weaving it into clothes. That is called secondary. Tertiary means services, transportation, banking, or storing the agriculture produce in the cold storages. They are tertiary services. So here, storage agriculture production is tertiary. Dairy farming, correct, primary. Mineral exploration is primary. Weaving of cloth is secondary because it is industry, correct. So 2 and 4 are correct. 2 and 4. That means only 2 options are right. Friends, if you observe, these are all the wood mill, waste coming out of that, the sludge from water, corn rain, all organic waste. None of them are petrochemical waste, they are organic waste. So, non-petrochemical waste, specifically organic waste, can be used as feedstock in producing sustainable aviation fuel, because petroleum is unsustainable aviation fuel. So all 4 can be called as sustainable aviation fuel. All 4 are correct. Friend, here again, the very fundamental concept of economy. Very simple, but the problem is these days most people are reading only standard books, but forgetting to read the basic NCERTs, the 8th class, 9th NCERTs, which tell fundamentals. That's why I saw some of our students also who are very good, make a mistake in this answer. See, basically, fixed capital means what? Anything that cannot be consumed while used for a computer. You cannot consume it while using it. A computer cannot be consumed. Or farmer's plow. It cannot be consumed. They are fixed capitals. Whereas working capital means money which is spent. Or maybe here they mention, see, yarn. A weaver, while weaving, yarn is consumed. Hence it is working capital. Working. Petrol is consumed. As used petrol is consumed. It's reduced. Such kind of things are working capital. So petrol is working capital, correct. Yarn is working capital because it's consumed, hence working capital. Computer, correct, fixed capital, correct, it cannot be consumed. Farmer's plow is fixed capital because it cannot be consumed, cannot be. So only 2 and 4 are correct. Only 2 options are correct. 2 options are correct. Friends, interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds. See, actually, metaverse. There is a movie also, or metaverse movie is there, which has won the Oscar award also. See, metaverse means whatever is there in reality, you can create a virtual world of the same. Means you can create land, human beings, people, a separate world you can create. For example, these days many people are actually doing trading, they're purchasing land in the metaverse, in the virtual world. There are many web series also, interesting web series also on the metaverse. Is virtual reality and augmented reality. You can use AR glasses, VR and AR glasses, augmented reality. So metaverse is actually the trending now. So option C, metaverse. Friends, which of the following rules are correct? There is no minimum capital requirement for a wholly owned subsidiary, for a wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India. See, without minimum capital, definitely RBI will not allow. There should be some safety for RBI, for any subsidiary banking, any bankings. So, no minimum capital is definitely, by using common sense also it is wrong. Similarly, first one you can use common sense, second one maybe you should know, you should have read that clause in newspapers, otherwise you cannot answer. For wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India, minimum 50% of the board members should be Indian nationals or NRIs or persons of Indian origin, but they mention all Indian nationals, hence is wrong. They can be NRS also, they can be PYOs also, it's wrong. There is no minimum capital is also wrong, minimum capital is required, both are wrong. Both are wrong. Answer is neither one or two, is answer. Friends, CSR, the 2013 Corporate Social Responsibility Act, which has come in the ethics questions, GS3, GS2, and now is going Prelims exam also. CSR is a, I think, favorite topic of UPSC. They ask it very frequently. So CSR rules specify that expenditures that you spend for employees, for example, if a company is spending money, which is benefiting the company and the employees, then it is not called as social responsibility. It's not social responsibility. So CSR specifies that expenditure that benefits the company will not be considered as CSR, correct? CSR rules do not specify minimum spending, no, they specify 2% of the turnover. 2% of turnover shall be spent for CSR activities. So 2 is wrong. Only 1 is correct. And then the next 10 questions are mostly from the science and technology, and most of them are in news. Nothing is from the static syllabus of any standard textbooks. Most of them are from the news. So The 91st question is about radioisotope thermoelectric generators. So what are they? Basically, they are like the battery system inside which there is radioactive material. As the radioactive material decays, it releases a lot of heat. This heat is converted into electricity. That means the heat is used for electricity through feedback effect. It's called feedback. So the radioactive material during its decay releases a lot of heat that converts into electricity by feedback effect. Hence, there is no nuclear fission here. So the first point, RTGs have nuclear fission, is a fission reactor, is wrong. It's not a fission reactor. And this kind of electricity generation systems are more useful in the places where maintenance is difficult, particularly in the harsh environmental conditions, where even solar photovoltaic cells, even solar cells cannot work. In such conditions, we use RTGs. Example, spacecrafts. They are used to power the spacecrafts because in spacecrafts, maintenance is difficult, conditions are very harsh, even solar cells cannot be used there. So, 2 is correct, 1 is wrong. And RTGs can use plutonium. Yes, they can use radioactive material, plutonium. They can use plutonium because it's a radioactive material which can decay and generate the heat. Hence, 3 is correct. So, 2 and 3 are correct. 2 and 3 are correct. Then, this question is about giant stars versus dwarf stars. Generally, dwarf stars means small stars. Dwarf means small star. Giant stars are bigger. Now, a giant star is bigger, more nuclear reactions nuclear fission undergo, and the core of the giant star that contains the fuel, mostly hydrogen fuel. The core fuel, hydrogen fuel, is consumed very fast. In the giant star, consumption is very fast. So it exhausts very quickly, and the star, this star lives for lesser time than dwarf star because of fast consumption of core hydrogen fuel, quick exhaustion. So the first point, the giant star live longer is wrong. Dwarf stars actually live longer. Second point, giant stars have a greater nuclear reaction is correct. They have greater nuclear reaction. So only 2 is correct. 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. 1 is incorrect, 2 is correct. Option D. Friends, then, so which one of the following actually dilates the blood vessels? It's nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, it actually, if this is a blood vessel, it expands the blood vessel, Because expansion, blood flows faster. As blood flows faster, the blood pressure reduces. As blood pressure reduces, it relaxes the blood vessel. That is function of nitric oxide inside the body, nitric oxide. Then, what are the uses of radars? See, radars, as we all know, for monitoring the precipitation, we are using radars. In India, using radars for monitoring precipitation. And migration of animals in the forest, for migration of animals, we use radars. These 2 all of us know. But the first one is, slightly confusing, first option. Whether can we use radars for narcotics? Recently, Bolivia, a country in South America, bought several radars from a French company, several radars they bought only to identify the narcotics and drugs which are aboard the flights. Though some of the radars fail, they are able to identify at least some of the drugs. Hence, 1 is correct. So all 3 are correct. Friends, regarding the aircrafts, we already know that Rafale is 4.5 generation aircraft. Tejas is also 4.5 generation. MiG-29 is 4th generation aircraft. So all these aircrafts have good stealth capacity, but fifth generation aircraft should have super stealth capacity. The super stealth capacity is not there with any one of this. So we cannot call any of them as the fifth generation. We cannot call. So none of them are fifth generation aircrafts. Friends, what are hydrogels and what are these? Hydrogels means they are the chain of polymers. They are the chain of polymers which has a great absorption capacity of water. It can absorb 90% of the water of the actual weight of polymer. Whatever the weight of polymer, it can absorb 90% water and it can actually bulge. So it has very high flexibility. It has very high flexibility and it can cause cooling effect. It can cause cooling effect. And also, as it is so soft, the polymer is so soft because of a lot of water absorption capacity, it is so soft, it behaves like a natural tissue. It behaves like a natural tissue, hydrogel. It's a very interesting compound, hydrogel. So, it can be used as controlled drug delivery, which is correct. Because it behaves like a natural tissue, it can be used in biomedical. And mobile air conditioning system, yes, it can cause cooling effect. Preparation of industrial lubricants, yes, because it is very flexible and very soft. It can be used as industrial, all three are correct. All three are correct. Then friends, hydrogen powered electric vehicles. For electric vehicle, hydrogen powered, the only gas that comes off the exhaust is water vapor. That's why it is very environmental friendly, water vapor. Friends, pumped storage hydropower. Pumped storage hydropower. See, hydropower means power generated from water, hydropower. It is storage hydropower. That means water is stored in two tanks. One tank is at a higher altitude than other tank, so that when water comes from this tank to this tank, when the water comes down, that can be used for rotation of turbines. Rotation of turbines. And this is used for long duration storage of power. So just like how battery stores power, battery stores the power, here water stores the power. But this water has to be pumped back. This water has to be pumped back again. That's why it's called pumped storage of hydropower, which is used for long duration energy storage. Then membrane bioreactors. See, membrane bioreactor. Basically, bioreactor means they use microorganisms. They use microorganisms to purify the waste. So microorganisms can degrade. They can decay and degrade all the organic matter by aerobic and anaerobic reactions. Membrane means physical. Physically, it can filter the solids and liquids based on the size of the solids. So membrane bioreactors means water purifying solution, advanced water purifying solution, which uses both biological microorganisms as well as physical, like using the membrane that filters the solids. So it is a wastewater treatment technology for treating the municipal waste, agricultural waste, domestic waste, all kinds of waste with advanced method. It's an integration of physical and biological. Then collateral borrowing and lending is a direct question. It's a money market for borrower and lender. This instrument, collateral borrowing and lending obligation, is instrument used in the money market.